Today we're talking about the Past King, Future Queen 1, Tempest Trials. This kicks off the annual revisiting of Faye's past story chapters, and this year we're focusing on Book 5. I don't know if we're ever getting a playable Regener Fafnir, but it seems likely the first king of Nidavellir will become a unit at some point. He's got a familiar looking red eye embedded in his deck. Real quick, Nidavellir is a high attack and speed bow cavalier. He's got the usual attack and speed focus with some percent DR, but his main trait is getting that insane contour distance +1. He also gives himself -3 cooldown every turn, and gives nearby allies -1 cooldown plus Hexblade every turn as well. The catch is that, like Regan, Nidavellir only does this for 4 turns before running out of steam. Cooldown support is always powerful, so something to keep an eye on for the future. If you best our new OC in the Tempest Trials and score the maximum 50,000 points, you can obtain the usual 42 orbs, 11,000 feathers, and 80 sacred coins. Starting off the second half of the year, we have the Ephemerma 7 divine codes, and since last month was an emblem hero, we're getting 20 extra normal 5 divine codes instead of a blessing. Sacred seals this month are Defense Res Snag and Attack and Speed Rain. The reward unit is Summer Dedue. We'll talk about what he can do later on. The first new Sacred Seal is Defense Res Snag 3. If a movement assist is used by a unit or target's unit, inflict -6 defense and res on the nearest foes within 4 spaces of both the unit and your ally. This is our first Snag Sacred Seal. Snags are one of those kind of forgotten skills, mainly because they're in the B slot, which is just super competitive. Newer tier 4 snags aren't bad, but 2 out of the 3 holders are Lucina and Crom, who get extra actions after using their movement assist. This allows them to debuff first, then attack second. For pretty much like 99% of the cast, this isn't possible, so snags aren't that popular. It is worth noting that Snag 4 applies Sabotage, so having a Sacred Seal to match up with could be a lot of debuffs. There is no attack and speed Snag 4 yet though. As a Sacred Seal, Snag could be more enticing, but it still requires a bit more aggressive play. You could combo Snag with Link B skills, you move them, you buff them, and you debuff enemies. Something a bit different, I suppose. In general, I'm not sure you'll see the Snag Seal any more than its B skill counterpart, but maybe it can find a place on units like Crom or Lucina who get extra actions after using movement assist. Our next Sacred Seal is Attack and Speed Rain 3. Inflict -4 attack and speed on foes within 2 spaces during combat. Rain seals are simple, easy to use, and active all the time. They don't grant the biggest stat advantages, but they can help allies if the foe is near the user. It's a little tough to debuff foes unless they walk right up to your team, so positioning is important. You can stack Rain with its C skill version, including Hold and Crux skills. We did just get a new attack and speed debuffing aura from the new Gold Mary, so maybe you can add on more debuffs with this seal on a flyer ally. I don't really find myself using the Rain seals that often, but they aren't bad options to have around. Last new Sacred Seal in this update comes from the 84th Squad Assault. Squad Ace CF3 gives +5 HP, +3 speed and defense. These are flat stats, and it's the same as Squad Ace BV. If you want a second copy, then here you go. I personally like to swap around these type of seals, so I do recommend having 1 copy of the original set at least on hand.
Surely there's someone more suitable than me for summertime fun. I will not leave His Highness undefended, not even at a resort.
Our second summer reward unit is Summer Dedue. I have a friend who's a big Dedue fan, so I think he's pretty happy. Now, the only thing I'm not happy about is that Dedue is another Axe Infantry unit. Whoever's making these decisions must be the same person that makes every protagonist a Sword Lord. It had been a bit since the last non-5-star Axe Fighter, so we were due, but I can't believe they made both summer units the exact same type back to back. I'm not really going to have a lot of new things to say than from a couple weeks back. However, Dedue at least stands out from Vake in a couple ways. First off, for stats, Dedue has 45 HP, 46 attack, 20 speed, 47 defense, and 35 res. Defense Super Boon means Summer Dedue is the new highest defense infantry unit in the game, beating Little Lissa. Instead of the usual free-to-play below average low 30 speed, Dedue straps an anchor to himself and only has 20 base speed. While stuff like Summer Hareed's Frozen can make middling speed, high defense units interesting, Dedue is just going to go for the full tank spread. Not as min-maxed as some of the 5-stars, but still one of the slowest infantry in the game. He has a healthy amount of HP and attack, and while not insane, 35 res is a lot more than respectable than the mid to low 20s. If you want a pure wall and you don't want to settle for some speed, then Dedue is your guy. If you weren't tired of attacking defense and heritable axes, then congratulations, we got another. Anchor Axe Plus has 14 might. If above 25% HP, the unit gets a base +5 attack and defense. They get extra attack and defense for every ally within 3 rows or 3 columns that has higher than 55 attack or 40 defense. If you thought Summer Clan's dagger getting breath type cooldown was cool, well, too bad. Anchor Axe inflicts guard on the foe. The mechanic for this Summer Banner's weapons involved counting instances of high attack or high defense allies within 3 rows or 3 columns. If an ally has more than 55 attack and more than 40 defense, this counts for 2 instances for the Anchor Axe. The weapon only needs 3 instances to max out at an extra plus 15 attack and defense. In total, you get a pretty impressive plus 20 attack and defense in combat, and you got the stat refined for more. Guard isn't fancy, but it is useful. Now, compared to Summer Vake's Tropical Conch, Anchor Axe grants more in combat attack and defense, whereas part of the Conch's stat boost comes from field buffs. It also buffs nearby allies. However, the Conch can give full tempo, which is a bit harder to get compared to Guard, especially on non-infantry units. If you just want a pure stat stick though, Anchor Axe isn't bad, assuming you got the appropriate teammates. However, it has strong competition. The rest of Dedue's base kit is a bit more subdued than Vake. Dedue has Pavis for his special, and then to tease the new tier for upgrade, Dedue has even defense wave 3. For his A skill, he has solid ground 3. Compared to its res counterpart, this skill has been forgotten since it was, and still is, only on Gregor. To be fair, not a lot of reasons to stack flat attack and defense. There's no ploy 4 or sabotage type skills to take advantage. For Dedue, also no reason to stack flat attack and defense at the cost of res. We kinda actually want that 5 resistance. If you plan to merge Dedue, the neutral nature will give him plus 1 HP, attack, and res. If you want 4 extra defense, you can grab the defense super boon, but bonus res wouldn't hurt either for general tanking. For some free-to-play comparisons, Summer Dedue is by far the most min-maxed for low speed. Compared to Vake, 13 has speed to put into defense and res. If you want axe fighters with some speed, there's a healthy competition with other Gen 8 options like Vargas, Windtribe Fuga, and Summer Donna. Donna's also a trainee. If you want another high defense option, Grim Hinata isn't too far behind and he has 6 more HP, less attack and res though. On the resistance side, Dedue is pretty high up there, which is funny to say, but the only one who beats him among all free-to-play axe fighters is Kalik. Just depends on if you care about speed or not. Among demote options, the slowest axe fighter is Bolthus. With Dragon Flowers though, there is quite a large gap. Still respectable though, Dedue just really drops all speed for other stats. Fresh from this update, Mustafa did get his new weapon and refine. I wouldn't say it turns him into a crazy tank, but defense field buffs, fall to now support, with some percent DR is kinda unique. He also gets a free follow-up. For the most part, Summer Dedue is the best pure tank axe infantry if you do not care about speed, highest defense, second highest res, and perfectly fine HP and attack to go with those. For general playstyle, Summer Dedue is a low-speed tanky axe fighter. If you want him to kill stuff, you're gonna need quick repose or a breaker skill. Very basic enemy phase tank setup. Solid ground isn't that important since Dedue doesn't need flat attack and defense. You could do close defense, or if you want to get fancy, borrow Vake's attack and defense finish 3. Double up with the Sacred Seal. If you run a 2 cooldown damage special, you can charge that with Steady Breath. If Dedue gets doubled, you may get 2 special procs, or you could go for the 4 cooldown Ignis. Breath type cooldown also isn't bad if you want to run something like Pavis, but 3 cooldown's kinda awkward, it's gonna require 2 actions minimum. For some other skills, if you flex Quick Repose into the Sacred Seal slot, you could run things like Attack and Defense Link, Dull Close, or Wrath 3. In the C slot, even Defense Wave is fine, but O3 might be more consistent, and Attack Smoke can be used for mixed phase tanking. Since Dedue has decent res and his weapon is a crazy attack and defense booster, you can focus on all res-based skills if you want. Bonus Doubler with field buffs wouldn't be bad either. For premium builds, it literally just came back with the current banner, so we have to discuss Legue's Friend 4. If you don't think regular percent DR is that reliable, this adds flat DR to Dedue's tanking power, and he has hilarious amounts of defense with Anchor Axe to scale off of. In addition, if Dedue can survive, he can retaliate with a deer-piercing bonfire for big burst damage. If you use Time's Pulse or Emblem Mark, you can run Ignis instead. This can be run with Distant Counter, and if you're worried about mages, you have the option to run Emblem Ike, but it has to be with Bonfire plus Time's Pulse. This allows Bonfire to get charged by Legue's Friend, and this triggers Ike's Ring for unpierceable percent DR. While you could run a defensive special, the Bonfire plus Emblem Ike setup is really strong. If Dedue can burst someone in one hit, you don't have to worry about follow-up attacks. This build is weak to Scowl and maybe Brave attacks though. While Anchor Axe is fine, the guard part doesn't help that much. Meanwhile, Axe of Devotion grants a sizable amount of attack and defense, and if Dedue has higher defense, he deals 30% of the foe's attack as instant damage. Maybe worth the trade here. For some other Legue's Friend setups, you could do Arcane Downfall for slaying. That would allow Pavis to work. Maybe Pavis plus Emblem Ike could be fun. Downfall does have a Fall Denial, and it has cooldown to recharge the specials. Dedue's damage may not be that amazing, but there is synergy for a defensive special setup. For some accompanying skills, Finish 4 is excellent, but you could do Close Defense 4, Unity, or a Tier 4 boost. Squad Ace for extra HP, you can add Quick Riposte as a seal if you really want to follow up. For other skills, Gambit with Aether Miracle is still annoying if the foe doesn't pierce % DR. Bulwark, No-See Disrupt, Guard 4, or even Quick Riposte 4 are other DR options. In the C slot, Oath or Pledge would be fine here, and something like Attack Smoke or Panic Smoke 4 can be great for mixed phasing. In terms of weapons, the Seahorse Axe is a budget-free follow-up weapon. Wind Tribe Claw also has a follow-up, but it's player phase only, and technically you could get even more attack and defense than the Anchor. Now the dude can also just run in with a Brave Axe. With Emblem Celica, anyone can initiate from 5 spaces away, so if you do want to player phase with the dude, then you can add Emblem Celica for fun. All in all, outside of trying to build speed, the dude can build pretty similar to Summer Vague, he just better accepts that he's gonna get outsped. Overall, kind of a weird Tempest Trials. We got the Book 5 side plot starting, some okay Sacred Seals, and then another free-to-play axe symmetry with attack and defense inheritable. Not the most creative. But luckily, the dude does fully commit to the pure tank stat spread, super slow, highest defense inventory in the game, and we got the return of Lagu's friend on the second Summer banner if you want to join in on the hottest build. The dude also has the second highest res among free-to-play options, which is kind of hilarious. His weapon focus is on defense, but if you want, you can definitely stack more resistance to balance things out. That's all I got to say about this month's Tempest Trials. I need those sweet orbs to refill my stash. Good luck grinding out those points against our new Book 5 related character, and I will see you guys in the next video.